Well, welcome to the Discourse here on Classic FM. I'm Sulaiman, and today we continue our look at the state of the Nigerian nation. And very quickly here, our guest fits properly into that term of having professionals in politics, someone who's been there and is still very much around, someone who's worked with not one, not two, presidents in Nigeria, and he's also got a sense of what exactly the nation is going through at the moment. Just recently, he wrote a letter to the president, and he's also spoken eloquently, online, especially on Twitter, letting Nigerians know how well we can get out of this insecurity, problems, as well as he's also been warning and speaking, giving his own experience with COVID-19, warning that the nation should also stay away from any third wave. Today, we're excited to have a medical doctor, a politician, Dr. Donyo Okupe, as my guest. Dr. Okupe, good to see you, and good to have you on the show today.
Good afternoon, Sulai.
Quickly, the insecurity is the most important of all that we're looking at the moment. Before we get into COVID-19, the good thing is that you're a medical doctor. Many don't, maybe for some who have been privileged to be at the Royal Cross Medical Center here in Lagos, I think it's good for us to let them know that you actually founded that hospital, and quite a number of things can be attributed to that hospital. For some people who have written books to saying how you and your partners, help them save their lives. But again, away from that, what moved you writing a letter to President Muhammadu Buhari? I'm sure you're still a member of the PDP.
Yes, I am. Hello?
So what informed you you're writing that letter to President Buhari?
Desperation. I said desperation. I was desperate.
Okay.
Well, okay, maybe I'll explain further. Things are getting very, very bad, exceptionally bad. Even colleagues of mine and friends and family are saying, how did we get here? How can we get out of here? Is it possible to get out of here? And each time my answer to it is that yes, we can. We can get out of this quagmire. We can get out of it. And it's not so much of a rocket science. It just requires some level of commitment and determination. Fighting insurgency, fighting banditry and kidnapping, etc., is not an easy task, but it is a task that can be accomplished, if you know what to do and you have the wherewithal to do it. And I believe the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people have the wherewithal to do what needs to be done to put a stop to this. And that is what, and I believe that I have come, I've arrived and I'm in possession of a plan that can actually, in 90 days, end this malaise. I believe so much so. And there's no need to believe in my heart and just stay in my house. And I also believe that the situation in which we are in now in Nigeria is also beyond the situation of partisanship or blaming anybody or any administration or any person. Lives are being lost on almost hourly basis. That is beyond any partisanship. I am willing and I'm ready and prepared to serve the people of Nigeria in whatever capacity I can to stop this. And I believe that it's not just me. My coming out will also encourage a lot of other people, not even politicians, professionals, young people who can put in their bits. In times of national distress like this, every hand must be on deck.
Quickly before we continue, could you move a bit away from your phone? You're too close to your phone to the extent that...
Okay, all right.
Oh, better.
Okay. Is it better this way?
Perfect, sir. Thank you very much. You said something 90 days, and I'm saying, oh my God, everyone would want you to share that. Is this something you want to share, or something you want to meet the president one-on-one to?
It is a security matter. It's a security matter. It's something that even if I explain it to people in government, it's not something that will be strange or unusual. You understand? But at the same time, it's not something you say on the air. But I can broach it.
Oh, by all means, go ahead, please.
Utilization of technology. Yes, it is utilization of technology. It is going to involve satellite imagery. It's going to involve panic buttons, and standing security outfits, every here and there. But more importantly, it will require high level of organization and commitment from those who will drive it. Those are the real issues.
So, since you wrote that letter, have you gotten any response from the presidency or the president?
I am not perturbed that I've not gotten a response yet. These issues, I've been in the presidency myself. These issues do take time. There's a lot of consultation. I'm in the opposition, and some people might misunderstand it that it's an admission of failure by government. That is not so. Nobody is all wise. No government is all wise. I believe that government will take its time. But in all sincerity, even if I'm not invited, I know that it will also put a pressure on people in government to say, if people in opposition are saying that, look, they want to help, then we better do something. My point is that I don't need any glory for anything. As long as something is being done to stop this menace, I'm happy.
I'm privileged to first thank you, because when that letter went out and we had sense of that content, we reached out to you. You made it so easy that yes, you would oblige us to speak to contents and issues bordering, that particular letter. Now let's start talking about security matters now, because the good thing is that I'm sure a lot of people will be amazed that you're speaking as a Nigerian, as a nationalist. You're not speaking as an opposition. You say it's not an easy task, but it's something that everybody must weigh into, and that's why you bring in yours. You said desperation, and that's it. First it started from Boko Haram, and pretty much we saw it make incursion into Nigeria's northwest. Now we're getting to see it spread across the country, pockets of issues, kidnappings there. What are those things that you think governments, state, federal, and in places where we still have local administration should be doing at this time?
Thank you very much. Nobody can fight a war under the conditions that are normal, and you must accept it. Government and the people of this country must accept that we are in a state of war. That is the truth. I mean, if every day your citizens are being killed, being kidnapped, people who are going about their lawful duties can no longer do so. I'm telling you, farmers cannot go to the farms anymore. Now children in the north cannot go to school. What else is the definition of war than that? Now, if we are in a state of war, the constitution cannot work. I'm a Democrat, don't make mistake. So the first thing to do is to, first of all, declare a state of emergency nationally. A state of emergency nationally on insecurity. With this, we don't have to wait for the National Assembly to do certain things. The president can, by fiat, accomplish some things which are essential to actually ensuring that we win this war. One is that we need to empower all state governments to be able to take real charge of their constituencies. We pay lip service to the fact that state governors are the number one chief security officers in their state. That is a lie. The state governors are not chief security officer anything. The Ogun State governor is not more important than Donyo Kukwe, somewhere residing in a local government, than the governor. The governor is just as helpless as I am. So we need to give power immediately to the governors, because they are elected also principally to make sure that the people who live in their states are safe. But they need to have power to ensure that. So number one, declare a state of emergency, allow governors to actually take control in total. You can say for 6 months, that is renewable, but they must have power. Governor must be able to instruct police, governor must be able to instruct army without them going back to, without them going back to IG or anything, to take charge of the local problems. The governors must be in charge. You cannot remotely fight a war from Abuja, all over this country. It's impossible, impracticable, and unrealistic.
This is something that resonates with almost everyone. You have said it, and time without number, governors have said the same thing. If governors in the ruling APC are saying what you're saying, what do you think is stopping the people's representatives, those we have elected to the National Assembly, to activate this, especially now that everyone is still talking about the Constitution to be, reworked, reviewed, and rejigged?
Sulaiman, we can't wait for the National Assembly. They will do first reading, second reading, third reading, and and all that, sign, and then take it to the president for assent. By that time, half of this country will be devastated. That is not going to work. First of all, declare state of emergency. Let the president pronounce the governors as totally in charge of their states. If they want to use the federal police, fine. If they cannot, let them create their own police. All right. Look at what has happened in Benue now. The governor of Benue has issued a statement, which is apt and which is necessary, but which is unconstitutional. But who cares about constitution when people are being killed? The man has said, look, defend yourself in means possible.
I think I'm having a glitch in the audio now. Well, I think as I did say earlier on, we planned to have this conversation, but somehow, duty calls and the show must go on. So we decided to take the risk of having to speak with even while in transit. I'm sure the connection will get better, and we'll get to hear him, clearly. He said something very important here, asking the president to weigh in, and as a matter of urgency, I think it's back now.
Hello.
Looks like I can hear you now.
Hello. If it doesn't, hello.
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So what I'm saying.
Well, it's bound to.
No, if this guest was, I'll park somewhere.
I'll love that, because people are sending messages already. Bamidele has already sent a message saying network. So people are saying, hey, come on, this connection is making this conversation not true. So if you got a safe place, so that we can have this.
I'll get to a safe place in a few minutes and I will park.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, we'll just park.
Oh, great.
Okay.
So, I want you to continue. You were saying something that even though the Constitution is about, the whole essence of governance, as enshrined in the Constitution, is for protection of lives and property, you still think that the president must make a pronouncement, declare a state of emergency and say, governors, you have this power, IG or whoever is in charge of security, liaise with the governors. Now, speak more about that.
This is it. The commissioner, the police hierarchy is structured in such a way that, all police formations report directly to the IG. All right? And they don't take instructions from any state governors. Now, we've got to do something about that. In this emergency situation, that is not going to work. The governor must be seen to be in charge and must actually be in charge. His instruction must be final, without cross-checking from anywhere. And if that's not going to work, then we will give the states power, immediately to engage to employ their own security forces, set up their own network, and control them without any hindrance from federal police. Look, the life and properties of people are more important than provisions in the constitution or government. Government exists only for one purpose, and that the first purpose is to secure the lives and property of people they govern over. The meaning of sovereignty, is that people collectively have surrendered their own, their own powers, and they have given it to somebody to use on their behalf. If we have voted for a governor to protect us, and the governor is impotent, then it is not acceptable. Not acceptable. And killing people is not okay. Africans must understand that. A life lost. See what happened recently, some 6 months ago. An American was kidnapped. Look at the number of people that were deployed by the American government to ensure that the rescue of one American. But here, 90 Nigerians are killed, 40 Nigerians are killed, 300 children are kidnapped, and it is normal. It's not acceptable. That is not going to work. It is not going to work. If we need to suspend the constitution, let us do so. But you can't keep killing people and say that, and nobody can do anything about it. If I have guns in my house and I have people in my house, that you will need an army to come and take me. But because I do not want to break the law, I don't buy guns. That is not right. If I can't protect myself, government must protect me. And if government must protect me, the head of government in my locality, who is the governor of the state, must have power to do so. And if people are killed in a particular town, you can call the governor and say, what the hell are you doing? Somebody must be accountable. Somebody must be responsible for the lives. We can no longer treat Nigerians as if, they are just hot of chicken. It's not going to work.
Dr. Okupe, you've said it, and I'm looking at so many of the messages coming in, and I think it resonates with what you say. Keep in mind here that before now, governments over time have always treated the issue of security with kid gloves. So we've had people refer to these people, these troublemakers, as our children, as repentant people. And gradually we see that these people, these terrorists, have started terrorizing the nation and almost taking everyone's peace. Now, quickly, I want you to look at the target now, which is our children, our future leaders. We're talking about our children. Now we're talking about people who have been pushed out of schools. They can't go to school because they're unsafe.
Sulai, listen to me. A situation where over 600 secondary schools have been closed in the north is not acceptable. That means we are not in charge. And more are still being closed, as I'm told. That is not acceptable. I even hear that schools are now being closed in Abuja. That is not acceptable. You understand? And it doesn't take rocket science to stop this. It is true government and police and security cannot be in every school, but they don't need to be, because kidnappers do not go to every school at the same time. And when they go to one school, for them to take 100 children, takes them at least a minimum of 1 hour to 2 hours. All right? And to pack them and to move them from school to their location will take another 2 hours drive. So how can we say as a country, as a nation, we do not have the wherewithal to intervene within 3 hours? That we cannot intervene and stop this heinous crime. It's not acceptable. There are ways to do it. All right, I'm not prepared to talk about it on radio, but there are ways to do it. We may not be able to stop you from going to attempt to kidnap, but when you get to the school, you are not getting out alive. And let me give you an example, sir. So many years ago, this is about 25 or 30 years ago, I went to the UK, for holiday. The night I arrived, all right, the night I arrived, armed robbers, attacked, a street, and they looted them. The next 2 days, 48 hours after that incident happened in another place. Everybody that took part in that robbery, they were killed, all without exception. A week later, it happened again somewhere else. and everybody who partook in the robbery were killed, and that was it. That was the end of armed robbery in London. That was the end. Criminals are not coming out to die. They are not suicide bombers. They just want to take advantage of the weakness or of the people in the society. But if it is going to cost their lives, they will stop it. But if you are paying ransom, that is the most idiotic thing in the world.
I'm happy you use the word criminals, and even though you qualify to be a PR expert because it's what you've done for many years, and apart from serving presidents, you've also done that with political parties. I recall you started with the NRC doing that. But quickly here, now I want us to look at my own constituency, the media. Do you think the media has done well in qualifying what these people are? Because I'll give you an instance. How come when it's happening in places like Benue State, what we say herdsmen? If it's happening in Kaduna State, we say bandits. If it's happening in Nigeria's southeast, we say it's IBOB. So aren't all these people terrorists? Who is making us look a little bit confused when we have terrorists terrorizing the peace and that's and unity of Nigeria.
Sulai, let me tell you something. These are semantics. You understand? So if you see an African man in Europe wearing agbada, you say he's a Nigerian. If you see, these are semantics. But it has something to do with bloodshed.
No, we have to deal with it.
Everything.
You know why? Sorry, Dr. Kuke, sorry to cut you there. If we don't deal with it, we will now be papering over cracks and say these are petty criminals when they do almost the same thing. People kill. Let me tell you,
anybody involved in an act that leads to the bloodshed, violation of human rights, all right, of another Nigerian is a criminal. There are no two ways. There's no small criminal, a big criminal. It's a criminal. If you're an armed robber, you're a criminal. If you invade my privacy, unnecessarily, you're a criminal. If you kidnap my children, you're a criminal. If you shoot my friend, you're a criminal. All criminals should be given criminal treatment. All. There's no gloves. Kid gloves in this matter. There's no kid gloves in this matter. It is not acceptable. And we must accept it like that, and we must respond appropriately. We must respond appropriately without delineating. People are talking about amnesty and all this. Before you do amnesty, first of all, stop the crime. Stop the damn crime first. Then we can come back and deal with, how to reintegrate people into society. But you don't first of all begin by wanting to reintegrate criminals that you have no control over. Look, it is this type of absurdities that made me say that if this issue of insurgency and banditry, it will not be controlled between now and 2023, then I will run for president, if only to show Nigerians that yes, you say something, you can do it.
So you actually meant that.
I mean it. I'm restating it. Sulai, I'm done politically. Believe me sincerely. At 69, with what God has done for me and how far I've gone in Nigeria, when I was in the presidency, I don't need to be a minister. Minister used to come and ask for my favor. So I'm not looking forward to be a minister now, so that I begin to ask for another favor in presidency. No, I'm done. But I am pained, and I am, totally, unhappy and displeased by the fact that this recklessness is going on and nobody is championing it. I want to be the Nigerian's David that will tell King Saul, let me kill this Goliath. That's the truth.
Let's see if we can start taking some messages before we get into the area of COVID, because a lot of messages here. And this one from Adegboyega Adedeji says that national distress calls for a national discourse. The question is the head of today's administration ready to sit down and discuss with stakeholders involved in all of these crises? A presidency that tags those who want the best for the nation, as well as will never take or accept suggestions from anyone that they see as whalers. that is one from Degboyega. I'm trying to see if I can take about 4 of them before we move on and let you react to them. This one from Malaki in Ota says, from what Dr. Okupe is saying, Nigerian army is criminal. No, that's what he's saying. He said the Nigerian army is criminal as they are right now in Olu in Imo State killing civilians. Well, Dr. Okupe is right here. I don't think that's what he says, but he's going to react to that. And again, this one here says, IBOP was peaceful of the federal government proscription, and IBOP is not a terrorist group, from Leo in K2. And one more before we let you take this. This is from Delta State, Kowalensky, and it says, in Netherlands, 19 prisons were closed due to reduction in crime. I refuse to be lured to this reactionary approach we always take. We can't eat our cake and have it. If monies for development and social and capital infrastructure continue to get looted by politicians, regardless of the party they belong to, criminality will increase. I think, well, our listeners, you can keep it short and simple. When I read so many, long and winding statements like this, I get also confused reading them. So we'll let you, we'll let you react to that quickly, Dr.
Okay. Very, very quickly, because I also know that you have issues with time. Very, very quickly. Look, I've been in presidency before. I can assure you that, once letter from a person like me, comes into the presidency, there'll be a lot of talk, don't mind this man, he's just a rabble-rouser, he's looking for a job, he's our enemy, all that will come. But you require higher intellect, all right? But we are not unaware that, our approaches or our overtures may not be gratified. But you see, what Nigerians always fail to do is that they fail to understand that government is meant to serve the people. This is the first line of action. We tell government, let us come and help, all right? If government does not agree that we should help them, and if the menace continues, then we sit down again together and say, look, Nigerians, let us come. The government will come, government will go. But, before this government goes or whatever, we must not agree or allow ourselves to be killed anyhow. So we sit down as stakeholders and then say, look, these are the things that we have decided and we have talked about. And I'm sure that we have enough people in Nigeria. If we do that and we can demand attention of the president, we will get it. If they don't allow us to come, we can stay away. We can now come all together, all the stakeholders in Nigeria who want to, who see things the same way. We can come together, genuinely act as if we were in government. What will we do in this situation? And then, we will put it down. The next thing is that we will go to government again and say, look, we wanted to help, you did not call us, but these are the things that we think you should do. And if it is still not done, then we come back again and we go to the people and say, listen, we have tried it, Now we then go to Otom's position. Everybody start to help himself, which will be a position of anarchy. And I pray to God we never reach there. Well, the issue about people looting and all that is not just politicians looting. Politicians are looting, priests are looting the church, imams are looting the mosque, bankers are looting the bank. There's a terrible Nigerian mentality, Nigerian mindset that, in Yoruba they say, between about that is, wherever you are working, that is where your bread is buttered, which is a criminal statement. We have to change our own mindset. It concerns unless you are being hypocritical. Yesterday, they said PDP were thieves. Today, we see that APC are greater thieves. So we are all thieves. So there's no need for Petu to be calling the pot black. So let's look for, frying pan that is not that, you understand, or we resolve together not to steal. It has been done before. It was done in Uganda. In Uganda, everybody came together and said, look, enough of this nonsense that we're doing. This corruption is going to kill all of us unless we stop it.
But really,
and they sat down.
But really, we're all up for solutions. How can that be stopped? Because truly,
it can be stopped.
The issue of insecurity is also tied to corruption.
is one stage after the other. First of all, we have to bury this insecurity. Then, towards building a new nation, let all stakeholders now come together and say, look, you that has 10 houses in Dubai and you have never worked except that you are a local government chairman, then you became a commissioner and now you're a minister. We know that you have stolen. All right? If you know that you have properties and wealth that is far beyond what you are what you can safely explain, you must return 70% of it to government within so number of days, maybe 90 days. If after that you don't return it and government can prove it's yours, government will now take 100% and still put you in jail. Do you understand? It has been done. It has been done elsewhere. It can be done. People, if they put you in government now, tomorrow, your family will think you are an idiot and a fool and you are accursed if you don't come back with stolen goods. Because they say, everybody went there to steal. So what about you? So, but unless we all agree, because some people cannot be behaving behaving or obeying the law and being upright and being honorable, while some other people are looting. So it is a national discussion. This country was formed in a hurry and is moving in a hurry. We must now put a stop to everything. We can do it. And it's not enough to say young people must come. Young people too are stealing. Everybody in Nigeria is stealing. A young boy who goes to an examination hall and pays the invigilator money so that they can copy notes. Is that not corruption? At that young age, is that not corruption? So these are the things. You have a driver in your house, and when you are sleeping, your diesel is stolen. Your driver's children are going to fee paying primary schools. So where did they get the money from? So corruption is a pervasive thing in our society, unless we want to lie and deceive ourselves. Bankers have money that they cannot explain. Teachers have money they cannot explain. Everybody in Nigeria is involved in corruption.
Talking about solutions, which is one of the areas you have also delved into now. Abu Otene is asking the question, Dr. Okukwe, are you for a Vulcanization of the Nigerian state and an Oduduwa Republic as a consequence?
No, I'm not. You see, number one, I have two problems or three. One is that I am a naturally born capitalist. All right, that's you can't blame me for that. That's what I am. I'm a naturally born capitalist. I believe in trade. Anybody who believes in trade needs large numbers. I like Nigeria the way it is because if only 5% of Nigerians buy a product from me, I am done. I come from a family where, family of wealth. People have money. My father had stupendous wealth. But it's because, he is able to trade, and a lot of people patronize him. Do you understand? So I want to do the same. I don't want to trade, in Yoruba land alone. I want to be able to a Yoruba land country will just be a country of about 40, 50 million people. But a Nigerian country is 200 million people. Only 5% of them, 10 million, needs to buy whatever I'm producing every month, and I'll be a billionaire. So that's number one. Number two, all my life I have grown and I've been raised to believe I am a Nigerian. To think otherwise is hard for me. That is also a natural problem. Do you understand? So that's a natural problem. But I am not unaware of the inadequacies of this system and this contraption and the workability of it and the irregularity in it, especially what this administration has done. Where you find everybody who is in charge of anything is from one side of the country. People are frustrated. For instance, the people from the southeast, I cannot explain it. Why we're making it so obvious that we don't want them in Nigeria. And yet they want to go, we say that they cannot go. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. My desire and vision is that we have a country that is equitable, and just to all, not to some. I am not flattered if people in the north say that they would rather work with Yoruba people and leave Igbo people alone. I'm not interested. You know, I rather deal with anybody on the basis of his personality, not where he comes from. So naturally, I am for, you know, a united Nigeria, but a Nigeria that is differently run from what we have right now. But if that is not feasible, if it's not feasible, then, you know, I mean, if it's a Dual Republic, so be it.
And well, I have another one here, but quickly here, for those who are still trying to send messages, you can send it via WhatsApp on 0909 217 2973. And if you just joined us, you're listening to the Discourse on Classic FM, and our guest is Dr. Doyin Okupe. Oshoke has this message, and it says, Dr. Okupe, did you propose these solutions you've sent to President Buhari to your former boss, President Jonathan, when the country had security issues?
You know, I don't know who sent you that question. You know, I'm sorry to say, you know, and I'm going to be hard. You know, I'm actually going to be hard on this radio program. You see, when you ask that kind of questions, it shows that you are blindly partisan. You know, the level of things now, can you compare to what it was in 2012, 2013, 2014? I am not saying that government was better than this government, but I'm saying that this situation is far, far worse than that time. So what kind of question is that? I really don't have time, you know, to answer silly questions. I don't. This is a very serious matter. And if I did not advise my former boss, and I'm now advising a new government, and it is an appropriate advice, so what is the question all about? I don't have time for that. I'm sorry. I'm really, really very sorry about that. We have serious problem, and that's the problem in Nigeria. Everybody is partisan. You know, Okupe is PDP. He was Jonathan's aide. Why does he not advise his boss? That is not the issue. And anybody who wants to be going backwards, I don't have time for them. You know, I'm looking forward, and I'm looking at solving present solutions. I'm not interested with people who cannot think outside PDP or APC. These are the people dragging the country down, truly.
You know, it is very instructive here that you have taken, you know, pains to put pen to paper to write that to the president and speak on so many other issues. A lot of Nigerians, they follow you on, you know, the mini blog there, Twitter. I also follow you, and we've seen that you have also raised questions and warnings about COVID-19. You know, the good thing here is that you're a medical doctor, and I will say this again and again, you are a survivor, and we are happy that you're still here with us. Whether you like it or not, you said you're done with politics. Well, we know you're not done with Nigeria. So at least you have written something, and you're concerned, and you're passionate about it. Before we start asking about experiences and things that you have to say to Nigerians, first, as someone who experienced that very unfortunate thing, and secondly, as a medical doctor, this question will be very, very important to you. And it has to do with, you know, the non-adherence to the non-pharmaceutical interventions and mass gatherings we have seen in Nigeria. You know, Nigeria fatality rate is extremely low, even though they have been doing that. We have been going to church, mosque, Tarawih prayers. People are, you know, doing all 90 services, parties, weddings. And it is almost the same thing we have seen in India, Dr. Okupe. How come India, because about 3 or so days ago, just 4,000 people, over 4,000 died in a day. We're doing the same thing that these people are doing. Is there any reason why we have some kind of low rate, you know, here in Nigeria?
Sulai, you know, this is one thing that I also want to say that it's part of our problem. You know, the question you are asking me now, you know, our scientists, because it was apparent from the one, you know, that the incidence, even at the very beginning, was low in Nigeria. We're still, you know, we're still to hit 200,000, you know, infections in Nigeria. Do you understand? You know, I mean, after over 16 months or more, do you understand? There is a particular, I mean, you know, I was expecting that scientists will face this local research and actually find a scientific reason why the incidence is so, unbelievably low. Whatever I say to you on this program here cannot be anything based on any concrete fact, but conjectures. And at my level and my age, and my experience in the profession, I should not be talking like that. But that is what I am reduced to, because nobody has done anything in Ogun State, nobody has done anything in Kaduna, nobody has done anything nationally, and that doesn't really have to cost so much. Even I did some research of my own. I went to a few marketplaces, I asked a few questions around me, and I have some results. Do you understand? But that is just nothing. Do you understand? You're talking to 2,000 people, it's not a big deal, in a country of 200 million people. So, but after having said that, many are now today believing that the way a vast majority of I live in the rural area. Do you understand? I live in the rural area, and I am stunned. Most of my friends and associates did not get COVID, and they were not sick, and nothing happened to them. I went to the market that my wife goes. My wife goes, and that's there's a market that there's no 6 inches gap between anybody. All right, and I asked them, what about this woman, the woman who sells pepper here? Is there? Has any shop been closed or any store that because the person didn't come because he was sick? In the past 1 year, nothing like that. It's not just one market. So there's a problem which we not need to investigate. Why are our people either they are not getting it or they are getting it, they are not showing any signs and symptoms? Why is that so? But scientifically, what we have been able to prove is that people who are exposed to some radiation from the sun for a given period of time, minimum in a day, tend to develop high level of vitamin D3 in their blood system, and there is abundant clinical evidence that vitamin D3 can strengthen your immune system to an extent that it combats COVID-19. There is scientific evidence of that, and I think majority of our common Nigerians, the masses, they spend several hours in the day standing at bus stop, walking from one farm to the other, carrying one produce or the other, or trading. Do you understand? So what you require really is about standing in the sun, from midday till anytime from midday to about maybe around 4 p.m. or something. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, in the sun a day, it does it. But these people spend 4 hours, 6 hours in the sun on a daily basis. So that is why, that has been proven scientifically. Now, the question is, there are areas in India on which we are on the same equatorial level. So you begin to wonder, how come, they don't, and they are also poor people. So how come they don't enjoy this cover? Believe me sincerely, and to be honest, I cannot explain it.
Honestly.
But also, if you go to the level of prayer, do you understand my point? I am also very proficient in that. I'm extremely very spiritual, and I believe in the power of God. And I tell you that before COVID came, Primate Oshitelu, the primate of the Church of the Lord in Ogere, prophesied that in the coming year, that was last year, year before the last, but he was prophesying about last year, that there will be a disease that will come in from China and that it will be devastating, but that it will go the same way it came, silently, and won't see it again. So, and that's what has happened here. We felt it, all right, and it seems to have gone or be going, because I'm monitoring it myself. I'm monitoring the CDC, NDC, whatever. You understand my point? So, like you said, I don't know. All these things that are happening also may have to do with end times and all that. And different regions have different positions and locations in God's plan on this matter. So, but I'm not forcing anybody to believe me. This is my own faith, and this is what I believe in.
I love you for that. Honestly, it's your faith, it's your belief, and for those who don't share the same, that they can keep their own belief. and
let everybody keep their own.
Everybody keep your belief. If you don't believe that it's a supernatural
being, you don't have to believe what I've just said. You don't have to believe it because you don't belong to my faith.
So that's good. You know, I like for the fact that Nigerians have started learning the whole, principle of tolerance now. Time was when some people can actually tolerate what people believe in, but tolerance is creeping in on us gradually. But let me quickly take this. It's from Sean Awogbinle, and he says, can you please ask Dr. Okukwe what he thinks about rotation politics? Does he think the presidency should be about merit and competence or rotational politics? If he thinks rotation, what does he think about the agitation for a Southeast presidency?
Let me tell you, we cannot keep this rotation thing in place, but we must complete it before we disband it. You understand my point? Virtually every zone in the country has produced a president, except the Southeast. So until the Southeast, and really speaking, we cannot just keep sacrificing merit on the altar of, ethnicity. We cannot. But we have started, it has gone round, but it still remains Southeast. So whether now or whatever, until the Southeast becomes Nigerian elected president, we cannot stop rotation. I believe in rotation up to that extent. And if we are to be truthful and we are to be honest, this 2023 should be a concession for the Southeast. It should be a concession. There was a concession that was made for the Yoruba people, after Abiola's death, when head and tail Yoruba was going to win. Falaye was in the other party, and Obasanjo was in the PDP. So whether Obasanjo won or loses, it will be a Yoruba person that will be president. We need that type of concession for the Southeast. But the Southeast cannot sit on their asses and think the thing will come. It has to be by negotiation. It has to be, the Southeast must reach out to the other people. This is what I said somewhere, and hell was let loose on my head. I'm a politician.
How can they start making that kind of inroad?
It's not difficult. We have colleagues everywhere now. We have colleagues, that are I have colleagues at my level in the Southeast. They know what to do. The biggest voters in Nigeria, the biggest voters are, Northerners. They are the biggest voters. They are the biggest voters. If look, we have a constitution that is almost insane in this country. A Northerner can be a president without anybody in the South voting for him. You may not believe it, but that's the truth. And I'll give you the scenario, very simple. And that just tells you the depth of the problem. And that's why I'm saying that any equation, political equation, that want to produce presidency minus the North cannot work. If a Northerner if the North picks one candidate, the North, the three zones in the North, and nobody votes for him in the South, the man numerically will win the election. Now, the constitution, it may not have 25% in 2/3 of the states. Then you go for a runoff. When you go for a runoff, he doesn't need 25% in 2/3 of the state anymore. He only needs a numerical superiority. And if you vote with him and the person who comes number 2, he's still going to vote. Then he becomes the president. That's what the constitution says. And until you amend the constitution, it will remain like that. So the North, look, when Yoruba people became president, it is not by right. It was a concession, mainly from the North. If they didn't agree, it would have been impossible. That is the reality of the situation as of today. There's no emotionalism in it. You want to be president, you've got to, get the North to come along with you.
Let me bring this in. You said something that I had to take a second look, and I look at you and I said, well, in all honesty, I think Dr. Okupe is looking better. Yes, you say you live in the rural areas. Perhaps you should tell us the good about, honestly, you should tell us the good about rural areas, even though it's been some years before, many years I met you the last time on television, and we met one-on-one.
I'm only 45 minutes.
The Dr. Okupe I see now
on a Sunday, on a good Sunday,
is fresher, is finer, it looks healthier, and I want to see the good in the rural area, so I can just come and pick a house there.
You don't even need it. First of all, come and test the ground first. Come to my house, spend the weekend. Come on a Friday, go back on Sunday. You will immediately deposit money for me to buy you land.
No, really.
I wake up when I want. I walk in the compound. I go and greet people, and I eat fresh things. I eat, everything is local. I eat local rice with grains, unripe pepper.
Because you said something. You said you went to the market where Madame goes to, and I said, "Oh my God, Doctor even
I did.
Took a walk to the market, and I'm having an idea of how it was like, being. I think
it's terrible. I use 2 face masks. 2. Look, the heat when you get to where they sell pepper. I mean, if you have asthma, you're going to die. Because the whole so but that's the truth. That's the truth. I went to 3 markets, not just 1. I went to Ogiritoll Gate. I went to ask questions. I went to Shagamu, Sabo. Sabo is the largest market in all this our federal constituency. It's the largest market. You are talking of a market where there are over 100,000 people at a time in a very close place. You can't even walk.
So, Dr. Okupe, again, sorry to cut you because we're winding down. I'm trying to see how much of questions I can throw at you. I'm looking at local government administration, grassroots, rural areas. If someone of your status is in your rural community, even former President Obasanjo, everybody, then we should also be talking about grassroots governance. So how is it holding on in Nigeria? Because we haven't actually seen a lot of progress in that area.
Let me tell you. Anybody who tells you that there's a local government administration in any part of the country is a liar. And God will not forgive the person. Anybody, it doesn't matter how high the person is in this country. What we have is shadow officers. Number 1, they are ill-equipped. When you elect councillors, people who have never done anything in the whole of their lives, from when they are born till when they get elected, they have never done any job before. Some, they have not even attended school. They become councillor by forging school certificate results and all that. That's the truth I'm telling you. I am inside this thing and I know. All right, so the level of manpower that we recruit to work at the local government level can never produce result. That's number 1. A local government chairman ought to be a retired PAMSE or a retired principal of a school, or some qualified, some knowledgeable religious person who has retired, or some banker of some sort, a former manager or something. All right, somebody who has, there's no, if you make a local government chairman, a plumber that is just popular in the area, you're wasting your time. But that's what we do. And most of them are acolytes of people like Dr. Okupe and all these people. Just choose somebody who has been loyal to you for the past 20 years. Say it's about time I compensate him. That is what we do. That's what we're doing. That's number 1. Number 2, they do not get the votes that government votes for them. They don't get it. All right? So they are reduced to paying salaries of workers. The chairman and his councillor have a little bit to kill and divide at the end of the month and go their way. Finish. There's nothing else to be done. But I don't think, with the whole local government system must be totally overhauled. The local government, I also disagree with those who are saying that local government should be autonomous. That is an anomaly. It is an oxymoron. It's something that doesn't make sense. Because, we are supposed to be running a federation. So how can somebody from Abuja be controlling Ikene local government from where I am and be giving them money directly? It cannot work. Local governments must be part of state apparatus. But we must have responsible governors enough. And if they are not responsible, people in the state should challenge them every month. What is the money due to local government? The governor must publish it, and every local government must publish what they get from the governor.
Talking about what's possible and what's not possible quickly, and this will be the last one here. I needed to throw this in is from Liboros Oshoma, of course, a lawyer, well, he's saying the constitutional, he said what Okupe is saying is not possible today. No one region can produce the president numerically anymore.
That's not true. That's not true. Go and read the constitution. You know, look, go. I'm not fabricating it. You go for an election, all right? If nobody satisfies the 2/3 requirement, you go for a runoff. That's what the constitution says. It has not changed. When you go for a runoff, you know, only whoever comes first in the runoff is the president. Go and check it, Sulaiman. It's not me. That is the Nigerian constitution to date. It has not changed. It's not me. There are 2 stages. When you do an election, if none of the candidates meets the criteria, especially that you must have 25% in 2/3 of the states, then you must go for a runoff in 2 weeks. When you go for a runoff, the runoff is between the first person and the second person. And whoever wins by numerical strength is the president. That is the Nigerian constitution. You know, that lawyer should go and check the constitution again. It is not me. I didn't fabricate it, and that is what is there. And it has not been amended.
Well, I think it's a fine place for us to leave it today. My guest has been Dr. Doyin Okupe, a medical doctor, a politician, and also a communication PR expert. And he's been speaking on a wide range of issues. And he said he's already written the president on how we can get out of this insecurity problem in 90 days. And he's still insisting that will work. And if he can't get this working, he will throw himself in the ring towards 2023 and run for president. Dr. Okupe, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I thank you for your time. And of course, we do hope that we should have you again here on the Discourse. Well, it looks like it's frozen, but it's a fine place just in time for us to say thanks to you for being such nice company. Don't forget, you can get to watch this program pretty much later on our YouTube channel, Classic FM YouTube channel. And of course, you can also send your messages, your comment, and of course, subscribe to that channel. I'm Sulaiman. Many thanks for listening.